Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the channel where I talk about my favorite thing in the world, goddamn cryptocurrency. Yep. And for today's video, I'm going to be interviewing the developer of Bomb.Money, Aaron. Bomb is one of my favorite crypto dApps because it offers something very special. It offers me a place to put my Bitcoin and put it to work for very, very juicy APRs, as much as 1% daily, actually, in the auto compounding vaults. And they have a really promising roadmap. I'm going to timestamp all the questions in this AMA so that it's convenient for you guys to find them, find out the information that you need to find as fast as possible. I've made a couple of videos already on Bomb, and you can find them up here. And we're running a giveaway on this AMA. All the questions that we got hundreds actually. We've picked the top 10, and they will be getting rained down some Bomb from Aaron and Bomb.Money. We had huge list of questions. Thanks so much for all of them. So before we get into the interview, I urge you all to join the Bomb Telegram, where Aaron is most active, and everything you need to know about Bomb and their upcoming creations, their upcoming roadmaps, any partnerships, all these kind of things that Aaron is working on, they can easily be found inside that Telegram or on their Twitter, which I've also linked in the description below this video. Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Awesome. Happy to be here.
Great. So just for anyone new here who is not familiar with Bomb.Money, could you quickly explain the protocol for us?
More than happy to. So we are an algo coin. We are pegged to BTC. We forked from Tomb Finance largely because of their great success, and nobody had done it. We are the very first fork of Tomb. They have a 1.5 billion TVL right now, I believe, or close to it. So we essentially took all the winning, aspects of their protocol, and we said, how can we build on this? How can we, change it in very minor ways so that we can take the successful elements of Tomb and maybe change the peg to something that might be more preferable for a lot of people and put it on a bigger network and offer some, what I feel is a once in a lifetime opportunity in terms of earning degen type yields on an unbelievably safe asset, which is like if you look at a risk reward ratio, which is what everybody should be looking at when they invest, you can't beat it. I said earlier in my Telegram, if anybody could find a better risk reward investment than our Bomb BTCB auto vault, show me, because I don't believe it exists anywhere in the world, and I don't believe it ever will.
So we're going to go with the top 10 questions first, yeah?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So first, this is from, I guess his name is Mr. Very Mysterious. And he says, my winning question for the AMA, and he was right, he predicted that right. He says, I've been holding on to BBONDs since we were back at 0.6 peg, as I believe in the team and the project. Are there any plans to enhance the rewards for these initial BBOND holders that have supported the project?
Great question. So firstly, thank you for your support and belief in the project. We really appreciate that. And it was a great move getting BBONDs a low peg. You got them cheap. At this point, unfortunately, we do not have any plans for additional rewards for BBOND holders. It's something that we have debated, and it's not out of the question in the future. I don't have a timeline for that or any, concrete answer for that, but I would say that we have some exciting stuff coming up. So I wouldn't be surprised if peg was to, rocket well above 1.1. So, thanks for your support and keep holding on to those, and I'll do my best to make them really valuable for you.
It says on the site, has claiming below 1.1 peg will not receive a redemption bonus. Claim wisely. What does this mean?
Okay, so what that means is that once we are above peg, so 1.01 is where our boardroom prints. So that's, what we consider being above peg, even though peg's technically 1.0. Above 1.1 is when you redeem the bond, you get a bonus. So you get additional BOM in return. So if you have, say, 100 B bonds, if you redeem them lower than 1.1, you're just going to get a 1-to-1 ratio of BOM back. So essentially you took B bonds and you didn't really benefit from them if you redeem below 1.1. But you do have that option in case you do want to jump into the LPs or you want to put that money to work. above 1.1, it's a little bit under a 10% bonus you get right at 1.1. And then it starts to really get up higher once we're well above 1.1. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get well above 1.1 in the future.
Yeah, I'm holding on till 1.1, to be honest. That's my game plan. So from Stan, we have, what are the key areas and priorities for BOM going into 2022? And what do you envision BOM's TVL, total lot value, and market cap growth over the next year with the addition of the BTC Single Staking?
Another excellent question. So key areas and priorities for us right now are expanding our target market. So we realize that, you know, the website is not the simplest thing to understand. You know, right now, if you don't have experience in Tomb, the website is just confusing. It just doesn't make sense to anybody, even somebody that's experienced in crypto. It's like, what am I looking at? There's just a bunch of stats, and, you know, so a huge priority for the immediate short term is to really improve the user experience so that anybody, you know, even someone that's not overly comfortable in crypto can still come to our website and understand what we do, and they can at least see how they can put their money to work for them. And that's our real priority right now. In terms of the TVL and market cap growth, with the addition of BTC Single Staking. So firstly, I want to say that the BTC Single Staking, it's going to be huge for us. But this is just one of many features that are coming. So it is a bit of a game changer, but it's one of many game changers that we have planned. So there's a lot of different things that we're going to be implementing that are going to, you know, I feel that are going to really increase our TVL and, you know, size of BOM. Even without BTC Single Staking, I feel like some of the changes that we're implementing to allow a much wider target audience, and the fact that we're on BSC, which is a larger network than Phantom, and, you know, it's the best comparison is to look at Tomb and what they've done, and then see what we can potentially do. And being on BSC, which is a bigger network, and then also the BTC Single Stake, having access to all of those resources, you know, on BTC mainnet without them having to even, you know, venture over to DeFi or venture over to BSC. You know, I see our TVL easily surpassing 5 billion as a conservative estimate in 2022, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it hit 10.
My God.
I mean, if you just look at what Tomb's done, you know, it's not that crazy to think about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're at 1.5 now, and they are.
You
know, and I feel like we can, you know, by the time that we're as old as they are, we can have all kinds of new features come out and use cases for BOM, and, you know, and that doesn't even take into consideration the BTC Single Stake, and we have an exciting future ahead.
I think you are right about the first part of the question there, that the site, and of course Tomb's site, if you are completely new to the idea of like seniorage and algo coins, it is extremely confusing, because it's I mean, especially to understand the gameplay of how to get the best from BOM, you know, the idea of where to farm, what the importance of the B bonds, which a lot of people don't seem to understand. They seem to focus most on the share token, which
there's a lot of aspects of the protocol that aren't really understood fully, and that's part of our aim with you know, improving the user experience. And, you know, we're going to be completely rewriting the documentation to really outline from start to finish, like even from the very beginning of how do I set up my MetaMask, to how do I transfer funds onto BSC, to what strategy should I go with, to, you know, everything start to finish, the documentation is going to have, and that's going to happen in the next day or two.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTuber. He has about 600,000 subscribers, and yesterday he was going through how to use Tomb, and he got it almost completely wrong. So it is if you're new to it, it takes a couple of weeks to get used to it. But then from the second point of your question, it was about like BTC staking. So for example, you know, here I have like Ledger, okay, right? So, you know, I have some Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network on there. So it would be as simple as taking the Bitcoin from the Bitcoin network, engaging with the site, and being able to stake in there. That's right. And
we're going to touch on this later with some other questions, but yeah, that's essentially how it's going to work.
I'm really excited for that. It's going to be great. Okay, good. So that was from Stan. From AK, he says, or his question is, Binance Smart Chain is notorious for the paper hand brigade. Long term, what is your vision for sustainability And how do you envisage retaining these investors? Paper hands.
Great question.
Yeah.
So I think, the best thing that we can do is just kind of prove ourselves, which is what we've already been doing. We've maintained a very stable peg. We've already had numerous stress tests, where we've dropped peg quite a bit and we've recovered. And, it's, I think just being around and, we're going to just prove ourselves as being that stable platform that I don't believe that, the type of notorious or, that stereotype of BSC user is going to do any harm to us. I mean, we've already experienced, the paper hands and, just the majority of the funds are going to come from long-term investors when it's, at the end of the day. And, when in a month or two's time, the paper hands will already be gone and they're going to be wishing that they held, and, so be it. Right. And I always stress that, when people sell, it's a buying opportunity. We're building long-term value here. So, the people that are staying with us, they're the ones that are going to benefit. And the ones that sold, we're really sorry to see you go, and maybe you come back one day.
Possibly.
Right?
They usually do.
Yeah. I mean, I try not to worry about things I can't change. Right. Let's just make the best out of what we can. And, things that we can't change, well, we'll just make the platform as best we can, really.
It is one of the most
values we can.
It's one of the most ironic things about crypto that generally the best marketing opportunity is when you're reaching an all-time high. And that's when most people buy.
Yeah.
Which is always ridiculous because then, we know what happens after all-time highs, it goes back down.
Yeah.
But that's when
or else it wouldn't be an all-time high.
Exactly. Like now is the time to look into Bomb and like get a position because, well, we're not giving you advice here. I kind of am, but you know what I mean? It's a perfect opportunity to set up a foundation and then start working with the platform. That's what I'm doing.
Exactly. And we're going to touch base on this again with some other questions later on.
And Fulvio, it's quite a long question. He says, Bitcoin has proven in these 10 years of life to be the most secure blockchain of all. Many forks have tried to improve, but they've failed because the original Bitcoin has always chosen the security of the chain above all the rest that today is perhaps compared to other chains is a bit technologically outdated because it's not very fast and it's not very cheap. But many people are reluctant to bring Bitcoin to other chains to receive staking interest. How do you plan to bring BTC on your protocol in a safe way to attract investors? It's a great question.
It is a great question. That's a large reason why it was chosen.
Yeah.
So basically what we're doing is, right now for BTC single staking, pretty much you need to either bridge to another network with a wrapped version of Bitcoin and enter DeFi, or you have to go with a centralized solution. So what we're doing is we are going the centralized solution for this. So we are going to accept BTC from BTC mainnet, and we are going to allocate that for them. We know it's going to be a challenge because of, the BTC holders. They are very cautious when it comes to this, but they are still staking with other centralized solutions. And we know it's going to be an uphill battle to, gain the trust of these BTC mainnet holders. But, we've already had a lot of commitments in terms of, people that are going to stake their BTC with us as soon as we release this. And I just believe that the more funds that we have on the platform, and after we prove ourselves for a couple months, more and more BTC mainnet holders will have trust in us and see that our returns are stable. And maybe they will drop a little bit because, once our TVL is in the 5-10 billion area, it's, I doubt the APR is going to be anywhere near 1%, but, we can probably maintain it somewhere near what Toom's at, which is, 0.3 or somewhere in that range, because I believe the price of our B share is going to be through the roof at that point to kind of keep the APRs up. So, it's really to answer it. We're going to prove ourselves over time, and we're going to do everything that we can to give that trust. And another big thing, actually, that I almost forgot, we're going to have live chat there. We're going to have top-notch support, like the best support that you could imagine, like not just in crypto, but just, that top tier support. You want to call us for support? Call us. You want live chat? We got someone 24 hours around the clock on live chat.
Also,
so that's going to apply to more than just
Yeah.
Well, because it's a centralized solution. I know that a lot of other centralized solutions might not have support at that level, but that's the level of support that we feel is going to help to give confidence to the users. And I know that if I was staking my BTC in a centralized service, I'd want quick access to support. So
that's true.
I feel like that's a high priority.
So Bruce Levick, he says, with the Bomb app being a Toom fork, have you changed any of the underlying code? And if so, what securities have you put in place to prevent being hacked?
Great question. So I'm a strong believer in, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So when the fork idea first came about, I thought, okay, let's change as little as possible, because, I haven't been in crypto as long as some people. I'm relatively new. So,
yeah.
But I have heard a lot of stories of other algo coins, and, once they lose peg, they just death spiral, and, just all these horror stories about other algo coins. So I said, hey, Jim figured this out.
Yeah.
Right. So why am I going to change it? Right. Let's change, let's switch networks to a bigger network, and let's, change the peg choice. But besides that, let's not change any of the core code. Variable names were changed and things of that nature, and a couple minor changes related to the 10,000 to 1 ratio. But besides that, none of the core code was changed at all. Like the majority of the smart contracts, it's just the simple variable names that were changed just to ensure the integrity and prevent us from being hacked. And I'll even go one step further to say the Beefy fork that we're using for the auto compounders, same thing, right? Beefy's bulletproof. I'm sure they've been audited. I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure they have been audited.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
and they've proven, over the test of time, right? Like they're battle tested. So we're using their contracts verbatim. We didn't change anything in the contracts, right? So if Beefy's safe, we're safe, right?
Yeah, that's for the Bomb auto compounders go from the Beefy. Was it 1-to-1 fork, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Bomb would be the 1-to-1 fork of Tomb.
Yep.
Good. So David P, his main question is, although Bomb.Money seems self-repairing by the community holding the BTC peg, what happens if PancakeSwap or Beefy Finance for the auto vaults are compromised or fail in some way? Should Bomb over time find a way to do everything in-house?
Okay, I'll answer that before we get on to the sub questions.
Yeah, there's 3 questions.
So
yeah.
So firstly, PancakeSwaps, I don't believe they're going anywhere. They're the biggest exchange on BSC.
Yeah.
We don't rely on Beefy Finance. We did already, fork that, and we're doing that in-house already. I do actually have a lot of experience with automated market makers, and we could implement that on our own, but because of the fact that we're using BTC as a peg, it introduces some issues with us having our own swap site, just because we have to have large liquidity pools between BNB and BTC and all the stable coins and BNB, and it introduces a lot of extra pools that we need to have a lot of liquidity, and so that our users can get fair trades. I mean, we also have the option, I guess, of putting an aggregator in front of that so that it could use, pools on PancakeSwap for the non-core aspect of the trade and use our own swap. But again, that goes back to relying on PancakeSwap. So, so it doesn't really solve the problem, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's the, I would have loved to implement a swap for Bomb, but it just didn't really make sense because of all the extra pools that we would have needed.
It's true. And then he says, does it matter whether the devs ever dox themselves in the long run?
I'm a strong believer in doxing. That's why I'm here, and I'm fully doxed, and I have nothing to hide, and I've heard other reasons why other teams haven't doxed, and well, I think they are somewhat legitimate concerns. I feel that as long as you're fully transparent, even if things go south, if you're fully transparent about everything that's happening, and the community believes that you're doing everything in their best interests, which I do, and I believe the community knows that I do, then even after our run up to $13,000 B shares and then right back down, I didn't have anybody upset at me because everybody knew I was acting in the best interest of the community. So I mean, I feel that if your intentions are good and you have full transparency and you're always make the team available to answer any questions in those tough times, then there's no reason to hide yourself. That's how I look at it. So I think it is important to dox, and I think if you do all those things, I don't see any risk involved.
It's also what was I watching? I was watching a video by one of my crypto friends, Thomas G from Crypto Talk, and you did an interview with him, and that's when I saw that you doxed yourself, and that was the point where I was kind of on the I wasn't decided yet if I wanted to go big yet into Bomb or if I was going to stand back and watch. But once I saw your honest replies to that, and it was just absolute honesty of like what you were saying there. I do think that goes a step towards convincing, the degens like me or very dedicated, careful investors that it is a good platform to get into, because there is an honesty there. And that is something that I actually appreciate. I really do. So I think doxing also does go a long way to this. It's good. And then his third question is, in your opinion, is BOM the best for when other competitors utilize stablecoins like Charge and the upcoming DIB money that pegs to BNB? Okay, so here he's talking about Charge DeFi, which pegs to the dollar. DIBs, I've not gone in that. I don't know about that one. Apparently it pegs to BNB. Okay.
Yeah, so we have another general question coming up later that kind of addresses this. So I'd rather kind of just hold off on this one, and we'll address this later on.
Okay, yeah, good.
I mean, I would really want to answer this question, but we'll address it with
David P. will answer that question later. But 3 great questions from David P. Michael Bone.
Thanks, David.
Yeah, thanks, David. Michael Bone, good name. Would Bomb.Money consider implementing a rebase mechanism for BOM to prevent longer periods under peg?
I've gotten this question before.
Okay.
And I am really against rebase mechanisms. Like, I want our investors, if they buy BOM, one BOM is always going to equal one BOM.
Yeah.
You know, we are never going to implement. I mean, for one, we can't change the smart contract, but that's besides the point. We would never even consider doing a rebase mechanism to, we feel that there's going to be enough use cases and the community is strong enough that we're never going to have an issue, regaining peg. And I feel like there's too many disadvantages with rebasing. It's like, what's the point of even keeping peg if now your 100 BOM that you used to have is 50 now? Great. Yeah. Well, we're at peg, but I lost half my BOM.
Yeah.
Like, it's for me, like, that's not a solid investment when, our main investment is the BOM BTCB pool and farm. And I just feel that I wouldn't be able to recommend that to people with confidence if we had a rebase mechanism.
Yeah.
To be quite frank.
I agree with you. I think my opinion of rebase is that it's extremely dangerous, because once you get that first rebase, then you'll pop back up. So essentially what it's doing is taking the price and pumping the price of your token back up to be above peg again.
At the cost of reducing the number of tokens. So exactly. You hold 1,000 tokens. Now you only hold 700 now, or however hard they had to rebase to get back to peg.
That happens.
Right? So, I mean, in my opinion, is that really getting back to peg?
Yeah, exactly. Then it happens once, and you're like, oh, it happened once. It's okay. I'll farm for a while. I'll get that back. It's fine, But then what happens if it happens again shortly after? And then again, before you know it, a week could pass and there's an absolute bank run. And you've just lost,
and this is a long-term investment, right? So I mean, imagine a couple of times we've dropped below peg, and but any long-term BOM holders, they're still holding the exact same number of BOM, right?
No
they didn't lose any BOM.
Yeah.
I mean, just if we lose peg, have confidence in the team and what we're doing, and we'll get you back there. It's a good time to buy.
Yeah,
when we're below peg.
Get some
financial advice.
Yeah. So then Lab Prof asks, BOM, what are your plans and expectation for BOM during the bear market?
Love the question. So this is going to tie in with some future questions in the general category about the peg choice, but I believe the BTC peg is going to be the strongest choice in a bear market, because Bitcoin, it's going to drop the least. No matter how bad of a bear market we enter, BTC is going to be the strongest. It's proven over time that the altcoins are the ones that drop the most, and BTC is going to drop the least. So this would be a great accumulation time. And, if you're farming or you're in our auto vaults, you're just increasing your position, and, and you're just in that much better of a shape for when it rebounds, right? And it's a great time to accumulate, and, you're going to suffer the least losses from, being in any other coin to be in a BTC and BTC peg farm or vault.
Yeah.
So I think we're best positioned. We're best positioned for a bear market, because that's something, again, can't worry about things you can't change. So if we're going to go into a bear market, you're best positioned in BOM.
The proof is in the pudding. I went into the auto compounders about Christmas Eve, roughly, right? And just shortly after Christmas Eve, Bitcoin had a big shit, went down a lot, and I thought, oh no, it's dumped a lot. I better check on the vault. So I checked on the auto compounder. It was like, oh, my pair is almost the same price as it was before. So even though the price of Bitcoin went down, the auto compounding APY is it's roughly about 1% usually going up or down, you know, and that is enough actually to fight against the bear market.
Yeah, you can basically take a 1% loss in Bitcoin a day and break even.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're accumulating Bitcoin in the process and bomb just to be in that much better of a shape for when it rebounds. So it's really incredible in that way.
It was super powerful. I was so impressed. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. It's fantastic.
I'm shocked how great it is sometimes too.
Yeah. Shocked at your own creation. Fantastic. And the last from the 10 questions is Nuno Serrano. And his question for you, Aaron, why the name Bomb? It's always fun to hear the story behind the name. So he's asking why'd you call it Bomb? What's the story there?
So I picked this question because it is a kind of funny answer. So
cool.
Going back to what I said earlier about, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Or, I wanted to change as little as possible from tomb. So maybe you can see where I'm going with that. Mm-hmm. Tomb, bomb, one letter change. So Bomb.Money, it's a one letter change from tomb. And, it is a really strong name, that afterwards, after choosing Bomb, it is just such a strong name. And we've been acquiring all the domains, we bought bomb.app and all these other bomb domains. And I really love the name, but the reason that we chose it was just, simple, small edit from tomb.
Yeah, it's a good answer. So we have here some general, how to start, what to invest in for new users, general conversation about Bomb here. So because we had a lot of questions from, I guess, newbies who are also being introduced to Bomb. They starting from the ground up. They want to know how to best approach the platform, how to get best gains, these kind of things. So I was going through 18 pages of questions, and I saw there was a lot of overlap, and there's a lot of things I wanted to address, but I couldn't directly address them on a question by question basis. So I just grouped them, and I figured I'd answer them all in a couple of general questions. So first one here. What would I recommend to a new investor in terms of what to invest in? And, auto vaults, regular farms, boardroom. And what I've set up quite a few people in Bomb because I, strongly believe in the protocol. So what I would put almost any new investor in is strictly the Bomb BTCB auto vault. For the vast majority of users, even probably 98% plus, holding on, because the number one rule in investing should be don't lose your principal, right? So Bomb BTCB is extremely safe and relative to other things that pay anywhere near this kind of return. So it's really a one of a kind opportunity. Like I honestly don't know if in my lifetime I will ever have the opportunity to earn 1% a day on something as safe as Bomb BTCB. It's basically a double BTC pair, and that you can earn 1% a day. It's almost too good to be true. But it's not. It's happening. It's been happening. It's happening right now.
But it's happening right this second. I wouldn't even, until someone is a lot more experienced and they understand all the risks involved and all the intricacies of the platform, I would just suggest Bomb BTCB, auto vault, take your 1% a day, be extremely happy. And you don't really have to do anything. You just deposit the funds, and, if you can top it up at some point just because you want to earn even more, all the better. But, that's where I'd suggest almost everybody to go, just to so you don't lose any capital in case you jump into B shares and the B share price drops and you're all upset. And we hate seeing people upset. And we just want everyone to make good money and take advantage of the platform in a safe way.
I have a question about the auto vault stats. So generally, when Bomb goes above peg, first there's a debt phase for a little bit where we don't have full full print. But then after the debt phase is repaid, then it comes to higher AP, high APR in the boardroom, where you're putting in your BBONDs and you're getting paid out Bomb token. So will that actually increase the APY in the auto vault? Or would it?
So indirectly. So the more frequent that the boardroom is printing, the more demand we have on B share. B share is the reward token that drives the farms and therefore the auto vaults. So the higher the price of B share, the better the returns are in both the farms and the auto vaults. But because our auto vaults are compounding every 2 hours, the increased APR from the farms really exponentially increases your yearly yield on the auto compounders.
Yeah.
So it makes a huge difference there. So we will be printing more consistently in the boardroom very soon. I'm very confident in that.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, because for example, the Bomb BTC, the auto compounder, what it's doing is it's taking the rewards from the farms taking the reward from the farm section, which is your B share, and then just selling that B share back into your pair. Is that right?
Yep. So it auto sells the reward. Yeah. It collects the reward, auto sells it, and then it buys half BTCB, half Bomb. Creates the LP, puts that back, and it's really cool to actually see, because the way that the Beefy farm works that we forked is when we first created each of the two vaults, it was a 1-to-1 ratio between when you deposit the LP token and the receipt token that you would get out of the vault. It was a 1-to-1 ratio when it was very first created. And then as these auto compounds happen, more LPs go into that vault, but the number of those receipt tokens doesn't change when that happens. So you can actually see exactly how much those vaults have grown the LPs just by comparing, for example, if I deposit 10 LPs, I can see how many receipt tokens I get. And, Bomb BTCB has almost increased 50%. So, if I put 10 LPs in, I'm going to get like 6.66 or whatever receipt tokens, because that 50% goes to 10. If you add 50% to 6.66 or whatever, I think my math's right on that, right?
My math is terrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust you on that.
Yeah.
Trust the blockchain. That's my ethos.
Yeah. Let me give a better example. If you have 10 receipt tokens, that should be equal to about 15 LPs.
Okay. Yeah.
So that just goes to show how much, because that was a 1-to-1 ratio.
It was, yeah. Man, just continually every 2 hours, just compounding and compounding. Yeah. It is great. So the second, I guess, branch we have is about investment size questions. So what were they?
So a lot of questions were about, is there any amount that's too small to invest, or what would I recommend to a person that has a small initial investment? And my answer to that is that there really is no amount that's too small. I mean, as long as your gas isn't eating up the vast majority of how much you're depositing, there's really no amount that's too small. So the particular question that I think that had a number in it was $50. And yeah, sure, $50 is, nothing wrong with starting with $50. And if you can add to it, the sooner that you can add to it, the better off that you're going to be. You can just plug, we show the yearly APY, so you can just plug in, if I have $50 and I increase it by this percent, what do I get to? And you can see if I add another $50 in a week, what's that going to do to it? And you'll quickly see that it's, it can still grow substantially, but the more you start with, of course, the faster it's going to grow. It's the nature of compounding, but I mean, you could always add more later. But yeah, there's no amount that's really too small unless gas starts to eat all your funds. Yeah, which it would have to be a really small amount for that to be the case.
And it is the magical power of compound interest. For example, I was lucky enough to find the tomb when it started about a week after the Genesis phase, and I got into that. And yeah, I didn't go in with much in that time. Like, I was new to the Phantom blockchain. I hadn't really experienced any kind of algo coin before. So I went in with about $100 just to see what was happening. And really, just over the months, it just grows faster than you can ever comprehend. Your investment will start to grow. And it is amazing to see. So, as I saw Bomb, I was like, great, this is my opportunity to get into another fantastic project that is going to, as it gets older, the benefits are just going to, the B share is going to go insane.
Yeah, it will.
It will.
Exciting times ahead.
It will be, for sure. I'm really confident about that. But yeah, it doesn't matter if you're putting in $10, $100, $1,000, $10,000. Just keep it track on what's happening with your gains, and you will see a lot of positive movement continuously. Is probably my advice.
Yep. Actually, one other aspect of that is what do I recommend for a person with a small initial investment?
Yeah.
I guess this kind of ties in with what do I recommend in general. Although that a lot comes down to your risk tolerance. But I might go with something that's slightly more risky if it was a really small investment. Like, for example, our second vault, which is the B share BNB, not quite as safe and stable, but there is potentially more to be gained there. So I would potentially do that if it was a really small investment, but even still, 1% a day is on our core vault or farm is still incredible. So I mean that's really up to the user which one they want to go in, or if they want to go in both. Or
yeah, it's kind of like a graph, isn't it? Like how much danger with how much money, and then
yeah,
you know, the more money you put in, and the more like the danger raises. Like it's, I don't know, but it's should be in every, you know, it's, what do we call it? General degen protocol. General protocol. You need to accept when you're going into DeFi that the risk is always there. It's about managing your risk. It's the most essential thing.
Just to touch base on that though, like I feel that we're in such a unique spot that like having a 1% return on a BTC backed pair is like
it's a dream come true.
We'll never see we'll never see this again in our lives. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever see this ever happening again in our lives. So this is the time. It is the time. Get in while you can. Not financial advice.
The next branch was about Bomb versus those goddamn other forks. There are a lot of them. There are a lot.
Yeah. So a lot of the questions were about what differentiates Bomb from the other two forks that are popping up. Yeah. Why should someone invest in Bomb as opposed to another fork? And I will admit that I don't do a ton of research on other forks because that's not a great use of my time.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that, you know, we were the first fork. We are, as far as I know, the only fork to BTC, which I think brings a slew of advantages that other forks can't offer because of their different peg choices. And a lot of them have already, you know, unfortunately been rugged, and there's all kinds of horror stories about a lot of the other forks. And, you know, like we're doxed, we've been through numerous stress tests and we've survived, and, you know, we're here for the long haul. And, you know, if you have any questions, soon we'll have live chat, phone support, everything, or you can always get me in Telegram, Discord. You know, we're building value. So, you know, once we make some web interface changes so that we can have a wider target audience, it's going to blow up. And BTC single staking, it's going to blow up. And we just have so much on the roadmap, and we're going to execute to perfection all of these different ideas that we have. And we're going to be the fork to be in. I can say that with confidence.
Good. That's also
is there anything else that I should address? Is there anything else I should address concerning that, or
with other forks? Well, we already talked about why pegging with BTC is better than pegging to dollar. I also agree with you there. I think pegging to BTC is better than pegging to the dollar. But to be honest, I don't know, because there are loads of forks that keep appearing, but generally my opinion is that the investor sentiment is get in early and then dump it, is what people seem to be doing with these. So you do have that inherent danger with anything new that's coming out now that is a fork of this protocol.
Potentially, if you time it right, there might be a short-term window where you can have better gains, but you know, we're farmers. We like, you know, 1% a day is unbelievable. So if you like stability, if you don't like losing money, and if you want to get rich, why bother?
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's just about where you want to park your asset for 2 months, 6 months, 1 year. That's like, I can see that's what you're aiming at. It's not just, oh, we're going to get rich in a week and then everything's fine. It's not, it's not the way. Not the way with your long hold funds. You need to think about a long hold strategy, and that's what Bomb do have, you know.
And we want to make sure nobody loses money. So that's, you know, that's our biggest, you know, one of our biggest priorities is to, you know, protect users' funds and, you know, get them into the right investments. And, you know, we don't do what's best for us. We do what's best for our users, because that's ultimately what's going to be best for everybody in the long run. That's
one of the mottos on this channel. Everybody get rich. That's what we're going to do.
Yep.
So then we have a branch on BTC peg choice questions.
Yeah, so we've already touched base on this quite a bit. But so BTC was chosen just, again, because of the stability of it, because so many people are comfortable long-term holding BTC. I believe in the future, you know, when people are scared in the market and they want to stable out, you know, I think at some point people are going to stable out to Bitcoin, not to a USD, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel that, you know, for a long-term investment to earn yield and to have, you know, utility around a token, to have it based on BTC was the strongest choice. So that at least you have that upside of BTC while you're earning yield and while you're using bomb for various utilities that we're going to have in the future, then, why not have the upside of BTC and the safety of BTC instead of pegging to a US dollar that's worth less and less every day as they keep printing money. BTC is going up in intrinsic value, and US dollars are going down with hyperinflation. And I think they printed they increased their supply like 15 or 20% last year with how much money they printed. So one asset's essentially going down in value constantly, and the other value, or the other Bitcoin, is if you look at a long-term chart, it's clearly showing which direction that's going.
Yeah.
So
another positive is you touched on it. I guess to explain it to anyone who's new to this whole idea would be, if you watch, for example, CoinGecko, and you see a dump in Bitcoin, Bitcoin will always be the first to signal a drop in value of the entire market. So always Bitcoin's at the top. Then you'd have, Ethereum, BNB, and the entire altcoin market. Everything will follow the movement essentially of Bitcoin, but sometimes there's some special occasions. So
of course, yeah, but
yeah. And when say Bitcoin goes down 4% or 3%, Bitcoin will go down 3%, but ETH will go down probably 5%, BNB 6%, altcoins, small cap altcoins will go down 10 to 15. Yeah.
Yep.
So then by pairing
great point
with Bitcoin and pegging to Bitcoin, it means actually in any kind of crash or any kind of bear market that you're going to be safer with safer than with pegging to something more volatile. So that's
exactly
one of the huge upsides of Bomb that I love. So then we have roadmap. Tell me about this roadmap. I'm excited.
Okay. So we do have quite a bit on the roadmap for 2022 and beyond. Priorities right now are user growth, which I've already said this earlier, but the biggest priority right now is increasing our target market by making the site much simpler, much easier to understand. We're actually going to be introducing a simpler version of the site because, as I said earlier, we want probably the best thing for 98% of our users just to jump into our auto vaults. And they really don't need to look any further than that. And they just get confused and they end up making bad investment decisions. And they get upset when things don't go perfectly. So we're going to have a simpler version of the site for the vast majority of users. And, we'll still have our site that we have right now with a lot of improvements as like the expert or the pro mode, I guess you could say. And that's where, our experienced users or the guys familiar with Tomb or the algo coins, they can go venture there and do what they want there. But that's a huge priority for us because I feel like that's really holding us back. The web interface and the documentation not being up to par in my opinion. So that's for really short term, that's the plan. Longer term, we really want to build a ton of great intrinsic value for Bomb. So we want Bomb to be far more than just an investment vehicle, right? It's a great investment vehicle, don't get me wrong, and it will continue to be that. But the way that we will maintain PEG and the way that we will grow this to 10 billion beyond is by having strong intrinsic demand for Bomb, where you need Bomb to do certain things that you really want to be doing. There's a lot of things on the roadmap related to that. And there's a lot of things that we have internally on the team that's not on the roadmap yet that will be released in a Bombshell Monday sometime in the future.
Very good. So what is Bombshell Monday? Tell us.
Okay, so Bombshell Monday is our weekly announcements. So that's where we talk about, exciting things that are coming up and any recent developments and any plans that we have or any special events that we're doing or, just something that, our community can look forward to as an exciting time in the week where, we can just let them know everything that's going on. And in the short term or really soon, we're going to be actually doing live streams. So we'll probably schedule that for like every Tuesday probably or Wednesday. So we can kind of discuss some of the things that were in the Bombshell Monday. And it'll probably just be like a half an hour live stream where the community will join and, ask their questions and we'll talk about, I'll talk about, what's going on in the markets and Bomb and developments and what's coming up soon and, answer any questions that our community members have.
Great.
And it might even go to, we might even do 2 a week if that's what our community wants. And we want to do what the community wants.
Yeah. I noticed in your Telegram as well, it was last week and it's really active. Everyone's like so positive. It's one of my favorite Telegrams actually. Got Telegram channels because it is just full of positivity. Everyone's just pushing Bomb. And they were doing what was it? They called it Bomb raids. I think was what they said. That was really interesting. like everyone comes together at the same time to focus entirely on the project, you know, and just rate it. It was good.
Yeah.
I think it just
Although
included,
I do want to touch base on that after.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really fun idea. I've not seen this kind of active community like involvement, like really like just everyone's so hyped. It was good.
Yeah, actually, well, I'll actually touch base on that right now. So, so bomb raids are, I think after the fact now, I think some people have taken it a little bit too far, and I'll explain
really?
what I mean by that. Because I think natural buying of bomb to farm is a great way to utilize bomb to make money. But typically in the bomb raids that were happening, people are buying bomb to sell it after. Because they probably broke up their farm to do it, or you know, it's not a long-term hold. That's so if we're gonna hit peg because of buying, that's gonna turn into selling right after epoch. So what we're essentially getting, we've been having constant growth. Our pool's growing. We're getting new users every day, despite our poor user interfaces. We're going to get to peg, you know, we're going to get above peg when we're below peg. It's going to come naturally. Yeah. So when we force it and people are breaking their large farms and doing these big buys, now what we end up getting is we get an unnatural print because we didn't have the demand to cause a natural print. So now we're printing, you know, tens of thousands of bomb that we shouldn't have been printed. We have all these guys that broke their farms to buy bomb. So we get a double dump, essentially. We get the dump of the rewards and we get a dump so people can re-enter their farms. And that sets us back now because now, you know, we were slowly climbing towards that 1.01 and now we're back at 0.96 or 0.97 because we did a print that we shouldn't have done. And these guys are all dumping so they can farm again, right? So it sounded great at the beginning, but I think some guys have taken it a little bit too far, doing it a little bit too often. So I'm really discouraging that nowadays. Actually, it's much better to hit peg naturally, and especially because I see that we are getting that growth anyway. So it's, you know, we'll print way more consistently if we don't do those types of things.
There you hear it from the big cheese. No more raiding.
Take it from me.
Yeah. Raid over. That's interesting. Really interesting. And then you also mentioned giving intrinsic value to bomb. So in my mind, one of the easiest ways to give intrinsic value to bomb would probably be if bomb could be picked up from other protocols and used as a farmable asset that could possibly give it intrinsic value, you know. Is this the kind of things you're thinking about? I know
stuff like that, and like a lending borrowing protocol where
that'd be huge.
Yeah, where like that's going to be huge for many reasons. I'll just explain real quick. But so our users that are earning bomb in the boardroom, and maybe they don't want to sell their bomb because they don't want to impact peg. If they can deposit that into a lending borrowing system that we set up, then they can then go and borrow. You know, for example, let's say they deposit 60% of the bomb that they got as a reward. Now they can borrow BTC out of there and pair without ever selling any bomb.
That's great.
Right. Or they can borrow whatever they want to go do it on some other protocol, or, you know, whatever they want to do. They can essentially just lend their bomb, make return on that bomb because other people are going to be borrowing it, which is the second part of this that I want to say is that, you know, now what other people can do, just say I'm an ETH holder. I really love ETH. Let's say I don't want to sell my ETH. Okay, well, let's just lend that ETH into the system. Let's make some return on that. And let's use that as collateral to borrow bomb. So I can now farm 1% a day, right? So it's everybody wins in that situation.
Yeah. Right? And then you're borrowing bomb, which is pegged to BTC, and BTC is always, ETH is always following the price action of BTC. This really
there's one more small part to that I can't really say because it's something I'm going to be announcing soon, but it's going to be even better than what I just said.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is great. So this will be on one of the Bombshell Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bombshell Monday. Okay, cool. So that's the roadmap. Then peg. Okay, peg questions.
Okay, so this is one I really want to address because there's a lot of confusion. I've addressed this numerous times in the past, and the questions keep coming up about peg. And the most common misconception that I get is, hey, BTC is flying. How is bomb going to keep up? Or, you know, and so I really want to address this. Our main pool is bomb and BTCB. Now, the way that automated market makers work with the pool is that both assets on both sides have to be of equal value. So let's just say, for example, we're at an exact 1.0 peg. It doesn't matter what Bitcoin does, how much it goes up or down. If nobody is trading BOM, meaning that we're not changing the ratio in the pool of BOM to BTCB, the value of BOM automatically moves with Bitcoin. It's like if Bitcoin goes up 10%, well, the other side of that pool it's worth 10% more unless somebody's selling it, right? So it's only buys and sells that impact peg. So if there's no trades on BOM, BOM automatically follows whatever Bitcoin does, right? Because I hear so often about, BTC's lower, so peg's going to be easier to hit, and all these different things about BTC. And I will say indirectly it can impact it because of sentiment in the market. So if we're in a bear market, people might want to de-risk if we're in a bear market, and they might want to say, hey, I want to exit my investment, which is going to cause sell pressure on BOM and BTC, but that will impact peg because they're getting out of the farming pool. So they're going to be selling BOM to stablecoin or whatever they're selling it to. And that could indirectly then impact the peg because of the Bitcoin price. But that's just because of sentiment of people making different decisions based on the market. But that's not because of anything that we've done.
Yeah.
So there can be indirect, impacts to peg, but not direct.
So if there were no buys or sells at all, then the liquidity pool the price would just move naturally up and down with Bitcoin.
Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I mean, the same can be said for any like a pool and any automated market maker. If the value of one side goes up, and there's no trades, the value of the other side has to go up. Although it just doesn't apply to most pools because they're not usually pegged to the same asset.
Yeah.
And arbitrage bots will come in and they will correct any price discrepancy. So, if that's why this is why it's a hard concept for people to understand, because typically when one asset goes up, the other one has to catch up or whatever the case may be. But that's not the case with us because both assets are essentially BTC.
Yeah. Then we have Auto Vault versus Farm. So this would be the BOM Farm section and the BOM Auto Vault section.
Yeah. So there's some confusion about this, not too much, but so the question is generally, what are the advantages of using the auto vaults compared to the regular farms? Any disadvantages? So our auto vaults are utilizing the farms. Essentially, you're still in the farm if you're in an auto vault. The only difference is the farm, you have to do everything yourself. Mm-hmm. So you have to make the LP, you have to deposit the LP in the farm, and then you will get B share rewards. I think every block it updates the rewards that are available. And if you want to compound, which is the strongest way that you can earn incredible exponential returns with our platform, you have to then take those B share rewards. You have to sell half to BOM, sell half to BTCB, add them to the LP, redeposit it, and it's a really long process that costs you gas. And nobody's going to really be doing that 10, 15 times a day. That the way that our auto compounder is doing it that often. So basically the auto vaults, they're essentially doing that whole manual process for you, and you don't have to pay any gas or anything like that. You just deposit into the auto vaults and it takes care of everything for you. Your LP count just goes up. So just to recap, it's doing exactly what happens if you manually auto compound. So it's taking the rewards, selling the rewards for BOM and BTCB, creating the LP token and adding that LP token to the whole pool of LP tokens that are in the vault. So the amount of LP tokens that every user has increases. So you just the size of your investment just grows automatically every time it compounds.
Good. So auto vaults all the way, really.
Yeah.
Generally, what I do is I take about 80%. What I'm doing in BOM at the moment, I'll tell you. So I take 80% of my investment into BOM. That's in BOM BTC pair, and that's in the auto vault. Then I have about 10% of that in the B share BNB in the auto vault, and then I have the rest in the farm section. And in the farm section, I've got some more BOM BTC, and for that I just use it to acquire some more B share, and I just keep it aside because I know the value of holding B share.
Yeah.
Eventually, when BOM is consistently above peg, I'll be able to really put that into the boardroom and work away with it. So that's kind of my strategy with it. But if you were new to this, then I would say just go to the auto vaults.
Another idea similar to what you're doing would be to use the auto vaults for the Bomb BTCB, and perhaps for the B share BNB. Perhaps if you're acquiring B shares and you're already holding B shares, maybe you don't want that sell pressure on the B shares that's coming from that auto vault. Maybe that's the one that you want to put in the farm. So you put the BNB B share, you use that in the regular farm, you accumulate your B shares there, and then the Bomb BTCB. Yeah. Well, not even compound. Maybe you just take those B shares and put them in the boardroom.
That's true. Right? Yeah. Right?
Wait. If you want to, if you're looking to accumulate B shares, especially if you've already accumulated some, you don't want that extra sell pressure on B share, because when you're auto compounding in the B share BNB, that's causing automatic sell pressure on B share, which is harming you if you're, a big B shareholder. So I'd say that's for B share accumulators. That's probably the smartest move, is to auto vault for the Bomb BTCB and then to farm for the B share BNB.
So then we have some questions about BTC single stake questions.
Yeah, so I feel like we already addressed some of this earlier.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But essentially it'll be a centralized solution, and it will work simply by taking your coming to our website and letting us basically inputting how much BTC you want to stake. You're going to have to make the BTC payment. Once we've received the payment, what we're going to do is we're going to allocate that to the Bomb BTCB auto vault, but we're going to do this in a very intelligent way. It's not going to just put 100% of it right into the auto vault. And, basically there's a lot of potential risks that it could have brought to the platform if we weren't very careful about how we did this. So the number one thing here is, how do we protect our users? How do we protect the BTC single stakers and make sure that everybody benefits from this and nobody's harmed by this? So there's a lot going on in the background here, and there's going to be a lot of BTC that's put to the side so that, when somebody withdraws, we don't hurt the Bomb price, because we're not taking, 15 BTC right out, in one shot, right? So it's, so there's a lot of thought that's gone into that, and how do we handle this, and how do we make everybody happy and make it so that we don't have any sudden, declines in the Bomb price from a big withdrawal. So that has been a huge consideration for us, and something that we've got a great plan in motion to keep everybody's funds safe and keep those yields coming in.
Good.
And how it's going to benefit the platform, it's going to bring a ton of additional liquidity in. So that extra liquidity is going to stabilize the platform. It's going to make trades not impact the price as much, so that, some of these early holders, when they're leaving, it's not going to drop peg as much as it has been. So it's going to bring a lot of stability. The boardroom's going to be printing more consistently. These shares are going to go up in value because of how consistently the boardroom's printing. So it's really going to be very beneficial in a lot of ways.
So when?
Oh.
What do we think?
Well, I don't want to give a concrete answer, but I'll say that we are very close. We are very close. A lot of the things that I just mentioned were the difficult things to figure out. Yeah. And those have, for the vast majority of them, have been figured out. So I'll say very conservatively 2 weeks, but more likely a lot sooner than that.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
And I do apologize. I know I might have said earlier, some of my timeframes that I guessed earlier have been off, because I didn't realize all the different intricacies that we had to do to make sure everybody was going to be safe. And, at first it just sounded like a very simple, okay, well, we accept funds from here, we put them in the auto vault and everybody's happy, right? But it's way more complex than that to keep everybody's funds safe. And, safety is number one. So.
And you build this by yourself, or you have a development team around you that's working together?
It's me among other developers. I'm doing the core stuff. I'm doing like a lot of all of the back end stuff and the integration with the BTC payment gateway that we've set up. So I'm doing the hardcore stuff, stuff that I'm good at. But front end, I'm horrible with front end, so I'm not doing any aspect of that. But
so the design aspect of the UI and everything's being worked on as well at the same time.
Same time, yeah.
Wow, it's all go 100% full bore bomb.
You know it.
Yeah, you're right though, because even if you do say, like there you said possibly 2 weeks or more, but what people have to understand is that it will be ready when it's ready, and when it's ready and announced ready, that means that it's safe, and that's safety is way more important than getting something before
early release. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
100%. And again, like an earlier question brought up, like how do we show these BTC mainnet holders that it will be safe for them, and all these other things. Well, that takes time for us to develop this in a way where we can kind of show that, right? So it's to give as much credibility as possible and have them have faith and trust in us, and that's also additional development time, right?
Yeah.
So it's all really important stuff, and it is top priority for us, among some of the other things that are vital to us in the short term. But we've got our community and our users' best interests in mind, and just we're doing it as quick as we can, but while keeping everything safe and making sure that everybody's going to make a ton of money with us.
Good, excellent answers. Then we have another question I just found at the bottom. It says, when will you release a series of collectible Bomb NFTs, which can only be purchased using Bomb?
Well, that was a nice assumption on the second half of that, but yeah. We will be releasing NFTs, and they will be purchased or mintable only with Bomb.
Oh, really?
I guess they can be,
Cool.
So that's definitely in the works. I'd love to be able to do it soon. Actually, I had somebody deliver me all the graphics today to be able to do this right away, but unfortunately, there's other more pressing issues at the moment. So it's something that's going to happen in the near future. I'm not sure exact timeline for that, but it will be coming soon, and it's probably going to be a limited run at first to give some exclusivity, and we'd love to build some extra functionality into it to give access to maybe members only areas of the site, or like maybe special Discord channels that a bot's going to check to make sure that you have an NFT to be able to enter that, or we're going to give other perks to holding that NFT, and we're going to do a lot of cool stuff with that.
Great. So you already have the graphics for them. Can you can you describe, like, without showing a picture?
To be honest, I got delivered the graphics this morning, and I've been so busy all day, I have not even looked at them.
Okay. I'm imagining like 3D spinning bombs exploding.
I'll let you know once I see them.
That's cool. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So, and is your plan for, I guess it's a bit of a, like, it's a far-reaching question because it's still in the future, but like here you said purchasing using Bomb, is that an idea you've been playing around with?
I feel like that's a strong reason for us to have NFTs. Among all the other advantages of, there's a lot of people that are really crazy for NFTs, and I can understand that, and all the extra functionality that we can build around holding one of our NFTs. And a lot of our community members are really hardcore, like they love Bomb, almost as much as me, or maybe as much as me, which is crazy because I love Bomb. And and they really want an NFT. They want to support the project any way that they can. So we want to deliver this for them. And
there's something about Bomb, because it's such a simple word with a lot of connotations. Bomb, like for branding purposes, it's so easy to come up with so many ideas for branding. It is a huge opportunity, actually.
Another thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, is we're really going to put a lot more emphasis on our peg choice, because I feel like that is such a differentiator for us. And not only are we the first Tomb fork, and we've proven the test of time relative to other Tomb forks, but I feel like just having that BTC peg, being on the network that we're on, having you need a solid community for these things to work, and we've got a great community. It's growing every day, and once it's easier for the masses to jump on our protocol and benefit from our protocol due to all the changes that we're implementing, our community is only going to grow stronger and stronger. And I see it every day, and it's an incredible thing. And
our last question is from Anony Balls, and he or she asks, will you be hiring internationally for people to work for Bomb.Money in customer service positions? Also, can we be paid exclusively in Bomb? Thank you, Bomb.
Well, Anony Balls, we will be hiring internationally. We're trying to have the core team be local, but having said that, to get the right people, we know that for all types of different positions that we're hiring for, we will be willing to hire outside of Canada and internationally. Soon we will be posting a list of positions that are open, because we do have quite a few open positions that we're looking to hire for. So expect to see that soon, and I expect to see everybody's resumes that wants to get on board, and in terms of paying in Bomb, if that's how you want to get paid, we're more than happy to.
That's cool.
So our current payroll, we're paying out in B shares. So we're taking like a US dollar equivalent and converting that over to the B share price on payday. We're paying out twice a month. Yeah, and a lot of our staff and community, like our mods and admins, I mean, they're used to doing this thing on a volunteer basis, and we said no, we appreciate you guys. You guys are getting paid, right? And a lot of them are really shocked by that. And you know what? But that's how we treat our team, right? We don't think it's right for them to work as hard as they're working and not give them a pay, right? That's we're not going to say, hey, just buy tokens and benefit from it. No, that's not how we act. That's not how we operate at Bomb. We pay people that help us out, and we run this like a business.
Good.
It is a business.
It's the same way I see it. I have the admins in my own chat, and they got to be paid. Like it's not a just learn for the experience. Like this, it doesn't work like that. You want long-term loyalty from your staff, and it must come from them actually getting rewarded for their faith and their if they believe in the project and they back you up, then rewards must come.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Strong believer in that.
Hey, what's the country? I forgot its name. It's the one that's legalized Bitcoin as a legal tender. Can't remember.
El Salvador?
Yeah, El Salvador.
El Salvador.
You thought about doing some promo there? You could go to El Salvador and then
yeah, I mean, we really, I'm pretty new to crypto, but I know that there's a lot of different events. I'm not sure if El Salvador is in the equation in the near future just because of coronavirus and everything else.
Yeah.
But I know there's a Bitcoin conference coming up in Miami, I believe in April, that I think we definitely need to have a booth there.
Yeah.
That's going to be huge. So I'm getting advice from others that are more experienced in crypto that have been in the space for multiple years, and they're letting me know what different events I need to be going to or the team needs to be going to, and where we need to be, really showing up and, showing that this really is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we got to get it out there and let people see it and experience it and benefit from it.
You could buy a billboard in El Salvador.
Yeah, there's an idea.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to go there.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be quite
Smart
cool.
Man.
Yeah. Put it on buses. Man. Put your Bitcoin to work. Good.
All right. Well, any revenue that comes from those guys, I owe you 10%.
Yeah. Awesome. So Aaron, thanks so much for the interview. It was really interesting, and it's made me even more convinced that Bomb is going to be an unbelievably fantastic platform. Now it already is, but in the near future and in the long-term future, it's also going to be it's going to blow my mind. I think when we look back on this interview in 3 to 6 months later, we're just going to smile at how successful this has gone. I really believe in this project. Just to end this interview, how about we end with just you shilling your links for Bomb.Money one more time so everyone can join.
Yeah. So our homepage is Bomb.Money. Very soon we will have another front page there that's going to explain everything. So it's a lot simpler for anyone that's not quite understanding what's going on right now. So Bomb.Money is the homepage. Our Twitter account is BombMoneyBSC. And our Telegram, I believe, is the exact same thing, t.me/BombMoneyBSC.
They're all
if I was wrong about any of that,
yeah,
Richie, they'll take care of you.
Yeah, they'll all be down there at the bottom of this video once we launch. Great. Aaron, thanks so much for being on the channel. And with that, we can finish the interview. I'll see you later.
And yeah, I can't wait to see it, man. This is going to kill it. I feel like this is a great interview.
And once I'm set up for live recording, then love to come in and be part of one of your Bomb live calls. It'll be great fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Me, Thomas G, will all get in there. We'll all support the protocol.
Yeah. If we start doing them even once a week or a couple times a week. Yeah. If I guests on this live stream, it'd be awesome.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I look forward to that, man.
Good. And Aaron.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it.
Don't get wrecked.
All right, man.
See you later.
You too. Take care of yourself. See you, man.